first week, I fell asleep on my feet and fell into the prep table and knocked over like a shit ton of herbs. And everyone starts laughing at me.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think I can fucking do this.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't stand up for this amount of time.
Yeah,
I'm not used to
sleep
this.
deprived, right? Thank you for tuning in and welcome to the Austin All Day Culinary Tales podcast. I am Jason Powers and joining me is Chef Brandon Silver from Shore Raw Barn Grill. I'd like to thank Ranch Rider Spirits for sponsoring this podcast, offering the Chilton Ranch Water Tequila Paloma. These are delicious. We love them here. They are the official beverage of the Austin All Day podcast. Please follow the podcast on Instagram, support the podcast on Patreon, sit back, grab a drink, and check it out. Well, welcome, Chef Brandon Silver, Shore Barn Grill.
Mm-hmm. Raw Barn Grill.
Shore Raw Barn Grill. And how is it over there?
It's great. Great. Yeah, it's really awesome, man. I love it. I was talking to my wife about it yesterday. It's just the culture there and the feeling of the staff is phenomenal. I love it. It's taken a lot of work to get to this point, a lot of road bumps, a lot of mistakes. But, I mean, honestly, it's like walking into my home there. It's like everyone is on the same team and the energy there is solid. We have a lot of work to do still. But that's really cool to say, to walk into a situation every day and just be like excited, you know? And I think that really runs through everyone. And the people who didn't run through, they're gone now.
Yeah, that happens.
One
right?
way, one way or another. Whether it's on their own accord or the management, me and my management team, just making a decision to let them go. But it takes all that, and it takes a lot of work. I've learned this first year, it's almost been a year.
So in restaurant years, you guys are like newborn babies.
Yeah, man.
And right off 71, joining the scene there with Jack Allen's.
Right. So it's out and it's in Oak Hill off 71. If you're coming from the Y past Jack's, which is a Austin landmark, great restaurant, we're on the opposite side of the highway, about 2 miles down on the left. So if you blink, you're going to pass us. We're working on getting a better sign on the highway, but we're very man. You just drive by it, or if you look at it from the highway, we look very unassuming. And then when you come in, it's just this really badass restaurant.
It opens.
It opens up. It's like 80% of the dining room is all glass, natural light.
The natural light is great.
And a ton of great artwork from this guy, Todd White, who lives out in Dripping Springs.
Oh, nice.
And it's real unique. Everything's custom. There's no we get a lot of people saying like, what, restaurant group are we, or what number of, is this the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh Shore? And we're like, no, this is the first one. And there's no big giant company behind it. It's privately owned by two guys, Jim and Rick, and it's really us just putting in the work and creating this thing.
So it's the concept and the aesthetic that people are like, oh, well, they know what they're doing. Where'd you guys come from?
Yeah. And
I could see that.
The execution to it, and I really got to give a lot of credit to Rick Wahlberg. He's one of the two owners. He doesn't cut any corners.
Okay.
Like he's like, we're gonna go for it. We're gonna open up a 250-seat restaurant, out in Oak Hill and serve, raw oysters and, gumbo and tacos and all types of stuff. So
so the cuisine, Shore Raw Barn Grill. You've got. Just let us know a little bit.
Sure. So we have a variety of raw oysters at all times, typically ranging in 8 to 10 varieties. We got some raw fish dishes as well, ceviche and crudos, so stuff like that.
Nice.
And then from there, it was my background's from. We'll skip all that. We'll stick to shore.
Well, I skipped over kind of the opening because I wanted to get people the gist of what short, because you guys are brand new, basically.
Yeah, let me keep going on it.
Sure.
So we got raw oysters. We got great happy hour. We got amazing tacos, halibut taco, grilled shrimp tacos, killer po' boys, and lobster roll, lobster BLT, that type stuff.
Ooh,
it's really good.
Lobster roll, that's good to know.
Yeah, we had a fried lobster Caesar as a special for this past weekend. That sold really well. We got great entrees from. We got a fillet on the menu, a 24-ounce ribeye. Grilled lobster tail. We have a really neat whole fish dish. That's basically a giant fish taco set. It's really, really cool. We got scallops. So I mean, we got a good variety. And
how's the sustainability aspect? Do you guys focus on this?
Yeah. Well, I need to. That's like my next step.
We can turn you on to Chef Jay he does this time out for tuna for starters.
Yeah, I actually just met, or I just went to the James Beard
the 13th?
The Sustainable Seafood Conference.
Cool. And
that's always been on my radar, Jason, is thoughtfulness in everything that you do. As a chef, this is my first executive chef job, and before this, I have unfortunately worked for the two prior restaurants, both shut down, and I had to let go of staff members and dissolve restaurants. And so my main thing right now is having a restaurant sustainable.
You don't want to see
that's
that.
The number one thing in my focus is like making sure that Shore and the people there are being taken care of, and bills are paid, and purveyors are paid. Because I mean, when you go through something like a restaurant closing, purveyors don't get paid. Your staff doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
And to see that is really, 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 really heartbreaking.
And you've done this twice. That's happened twice.
Yeah. I wasn't the exec.
Sure.
I was just one of them. I was a sous chef, and the other one I was a chef de cuisine.
But either way, watching that stuff go down,
it's
it's
tough.
not pretty. Yeah.
It's super tough. And the second one, I mean, we sold off equipment.
Yeah.
Like they kept me on, and I had to like sell off all the stuff we bought. I mean, we
don't need to name names, but these are local here.
Yeah, it was in Austin. Yeah, it's in the past, but you gotta. I mean, I wouldn't change anything because it's gotten me to where I am today, and what I realize how important it is to stay on top of this stuff. But anyway, it relates back to what your first question was: sustainable seafood. Yes, it's very important to me. I need to do a better job at it, but and I will. It's on my list of things.
Well, it's great that you attended the seminar, right?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Sure.
Chef Jay did a great job. Him and the other guys. Yeah, man, and it's really important. It's just it's just thoughtful sourcing and all that stuff. It's really important.
Sure.
So.
And so you mentioned the first executive chef position, and before we started recording, we were talking about the timeline to get Shore up and going was a little longer than anticipated, which happens.
Yeah, it did take a while. So like I said, the previous restaurant I was at shut down, and then they strung me out helping dissolve the restaurant. I sold some stuff off with them, just went through the food inventory, tried to sell some of that off. And then I had back surgery, and I left about 6 months after that restaurant closed. And then I didn't have a job for almost 8 months.
Does that have to do with the surgery?
No. The surgery I recovered pretty quickly. Like within I'd say a month, I was back on my feet.
What happened to your back?
I had a ruptured disc in my back.
Okay.
I just got out from working.
I was
it was just super painful. It was like some nerve pain down my left leg, a lot of shooting pain and stuff. And
sounds pretty unpleasant.
Yeah, and I mean as a cook, and you don't take care of yourself. You're working like
long hours
lifting stuff, not thinking about how you're lifting them, thinking
feeding everybody else, forgetting to feed yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And it accumulated into me hurting myself. But anyway, I got it all fixed, and then stepped away from that restaurant, and then didn't have a job for a while. I sifted through a lot of interviews, trying to find the right thing for my next step. And I met this guy. I actually got put in contact with a chef named David Garrido, who's been in town for quite a while. A really great guy. I got put in contact with him with a guest or a customer that used to come into the old restaurant, and he had reached out and was like, "Hey man, how you doing? I know the restaurant's closed. You all right? And I'm like, nah, man, I'm all right. I'm searching, trying to find the right opportunity. He's like, well, you got to meet. I have a friend named David. He's been in town for a while. One of the original chefs at the original Jeffrey's and cooked for President Bush and stuff. And I think Bush flew him out to the White House, I think. So he has some pretty good recognition. And I met with him for coffee. We ended up talking for 2 hours. Great guy. By the end of it, he's like, I think I have an opportunity for you. And he was consulting for Rick, helping him get the menu and the concept off the ground. That's what he does on the side, is consulting. A lot of good viewpoints. And anyway, put me in contact with Rick, had a couple interviews, cooked for him. They hired me. It's cool. It felt right. It was just like, cool, let's do it. It's out in Oak Hill. I live 10 minutes from there. Like,
bonus.
I know, man. I don't have to get on any highways to get to work. It takes me like literally 12 minutes to get to work. Nice. It's fantastic. And brand new build out, brand new menu. So that whole process was really cool. I think that was in the summer of 2017. I think. Hang on.
Sure.
2018.
It's a blur, huh?
I know. It was 2017, man, because that was that was like at the end of 2017.
Time flies, though.
And then
you guys are a year in.
Yeah, dude. We went to anyway. So fast forward a little bit. Rick and I and David went to Mexico City to do some R&D on the restaurant. We got some really cool ideas for the restaurant then. That was a really, really dope trip. Ate a lot of good restaurants. Got a lot of inspiration.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, man. And then we came back, and it just took. Just getting permits and the build out took forever. And then we got open 2019 February. End of February, and we had our friends and family, and it was a shit show. Oh my God, it was awful.
Right.
For service.
Yeah.
For service, we just got bulldozed. We had 300 people come. We gave
a soft opening?
Yeah.
Okay.
We gave the whole menu out.
300.
Yeah, and they all sat at the same time.
Oh gosh.
So they all showed up we was like, yeah, show up at 6.
Right.
So looking back, I'm just like, I just remember like, this is not how it was supposed to go, but you learn from it, and it's free food anyway.
Yeah,
everyone was cool, and but as a chef and as a professional, you just want everything to go like perfect, as close to perfect as possible.
Yeah.
And so when it doesn't, it's frustrating. But looking back on it now, I laugh at it because I'm like, man, I'm gonna do it totally differently now.
Well, you got to live and learn.
Yep. That's the key, is learn, Jason. You have to learn from it, because if you keep making the same mistakes, that's the problem.
Sure.
So we try not to do that, and that's what I try to tell my team, is just like, I'm okay with mistakes, but making them repeated mistakes, I'm not okay with, because something else is going on.
With the R&D and all this opening, and the traveling you guys were doing, is this the first restaurant or project that you actually were a part of opening, or have you done this before?
This specific style in which I was the executive chef was the first time.
First time as an
exec. Yeah, which is it's totally different than anything else.
Sure.
That role is completely different than a line cook, a sous chef.
But you have been a part of like openings in a sense.
Yeah, okay. I've been cooking since 2005 in Austin.
Well, so we've got kind of a gist ashore, and you guys are out there on 71. I'm curious about you a little bit. Can I ask where were you born originally?
Dallas, Texas. Yeah, just a little bit on the north side. I grew up in this area called Lakewood. I lived there.
You grew up there until how long were you there?
Well, so until I was 18.
Okay. So did you get your feet wet in the industry?
A little bit. I worked at a sandwich shop when I was like 16, 17.
Sure.
My dad and my mom got a divorce when I was like 10 or 11, and my dad moved down to Austin for a job.
Okay.
So then I'd come visit him and go swimming in the Barton Springs and go to Zilker, and I was like, dude, this place is great.
I'm sure. In comparison to Dallas, it's just more laid back.
Yeah, it's laid back, man. There's more of a culture. Yeah. There's more of like a foodie and music and, college town culture at the time. And it still does, man. I love it here. I love the city.
Good place.
Yeah. So then I hightailed it down. I always say I'm a refugee from Dallas because I got out of there in like, right out of high school, I came down.
So when mom and dad had split, did they bring any influence to you, like culinary arts? Were they cooking? Was mom cooking or dad cooking when you were younger?
Yeah, I would say yes. I think probably some memorable moments. My dad's from Louisiana, so I got a lot of, at Shore, we serve a lot of great Cajun dishes,
right?
gumbo,
Oh, boy.
etouffee, Creole. We make everything in-house. Our gumbo's amazing. But he's from Louisiana, so I got a lot of that from him. I never thought I would be cooking that professionally for some reason.
Sure.
I always just took it for granted and sort of like, oh, it's, my dad's making this great food and red beans and rice and stuff. But now as like a professional, chef, I love making it. I'm really happy we're serving that type of stuff because it's delicious and it's good. It's satisfying and people love it and it makes people happy.
Comfort food, yeah.
So it's good. I mean, so my family's just like all families, I imagine, they're all a little fucking crazy. Everyone's a little crazy.
Every single one.
You got layers of craziness throughout it all. And I'm one of 5 kids. I got 2 stepsisters too. So it's a big bunch. It's a lot to deal with. We got a lot of personalities. I tend to be the more mellow one, I think. But the best times were always eating, that's when everyone shut up and stopped arguing and just ate and had fun and cut loose. So like, I mean, that I think always resonated with me. And then I also, every birthday as a kid, my dad would take us out individually and go wherever you want, like go out to eat. So I remember hitting up this restaurant called The Palm when I was super young, had been 10. And I was like, I want a whole lobster. And I got it and I ate it all. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. But fast forward, man, I never liked school. I never enjoyed it. I'm super self-diagnosed ADD.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I mean, if I don't have 7 things going at once, it's difficult for me to focus on one thing. And school was not a priority for me.
Yeah. Lends itself well now, I'm sure.
Yeah, it does. Because you have to be able to juggle so many things when I'm there at the restaurant. But where was I going with that?
Well, you these family trips or birthdays rather, you guys get to go out. You ordered your first lobster, which is pretty cool. And so you did have an introduction to a taste for the culinary arts at a younger age.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe without even knowing it. That's fun.
Yeah.
Did.
Now I remember where I was going with all this. Yeah, so I didn't want to go to college. I was like,
Yeah,
I didn't see any reason to spend 30, 40, however much it was for tuition to go to college because I didn't feel responsible enough. I just knew I'd piss it in the wind. So I didn't.
Thinking like that, were you thinking if you were to go to college, it would be for anything else besides like
culinary?
Culinary? I mean, were you thinking
no,
about
dude,
anything?
I didn't have anything on my radar. Honestly, I was. Let me paint a little picture for you, Jason.
Sure.
I had dreadlocks. I wore chacos. I swam a lot, and I'd chase girls.
Okay.
And that was my priority. And then probably a couple other things.
The dreadlocks is a definite curveball. I love it.
Especially now, the way I look. But, man, it's cool. It's funny. But, yeah, so then anyway, I went home for Christmas. Like, I think I was 21, 22. And my grandfather, Opa, who's passed now, he was like, what's going on, Brandon? What are you doing? What are you passionate? Like, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing.
Yeah.
Like, just chilling. Like, I worked at Austin's. I was a delivery driver at Austin's Pizza on South Lamar.
Okay.
And that's how I made my money.
Sure.
And that was great. I know like the 78704 area code, like the back of my hand still. I know every single street there.
Nice.
I worked there for like 2 years, 3 years delivering pizzas. And he was like, well, why don't you become a chef? And I had cooked him steaks that night. And he just as simple as that. It was he's like, why don't you just become a chef? Because you just made us some great food. And his thick German accent, like super thick. And he's drinking his whiskey. And I'm like, it just hit me. It was so stupid how it just hit me. I'm like, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Why not? And so I went home and then I saw a Le Cordon Bleu commercial and called them up. They got back to me and I enrolled without ever even really cooking.
Yeah.
And just dove into it and haven't looked back.
There you go.
Dude, it was that simple for me.
I was having a quick conversation last night about CIA and how you you're required to have a certain amount of, a set behind, a certain number of years or a certain amount of kitchens. And Le Cordon Bleu was unique where you could do that. And sometimes that's a good thing, right? If you decide you're passionate about it, you don't have to go cut your teeth for 5 years before you can enroll. So did you gain a lot from actually going through Le Cordon Bleu, I'm sure?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, putting into practice into restaurant stuff is a little different, but you learn the terminology.
Well, you learned your mother sauces, right? That's
Yeah,
right.
no, you learn the basics. You learn, what knife work is. Your sauces, your stocks, all that stuff. Certain standards.
Some of it's like the math we learned in school that's not necessary, but but some of it.
Well, it just depends, man. Because being a chef, you can go so many different ways.
Yeah.
And they're all different.
Sure.
They're all like a hotel chef to a catering chef to private chef to personal chef to restaurant chef to corporate restaurant chef. I mean, there's so many outlets you could take it. I mean, you can go into now this prepackaged ready to eat meals. Dude, yeah, you can do and make a business out of really anything. So it's just on how you're going to apply it.
Yeah.
I was always drawn to restaurants just because I like the idea of just we're throwing a party and you're here and you're going to have fun and eat and have a good time.
Yeah. And you grew up going to good restaurants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, I guess.
Well, yeah, more than most. I mean, the father taking you out saying wherever you want to go.
Yeah, once a year.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's exciting. So Le Cordon Bleu, you learn, you get your chops there. You get some education behind you.
Yep.
They send you out with what they call externship.
Yeah, you do an externship.
So where were you? Because you were Pizzas, South Lamar. You're going to the Le Cordon Bleu in the Domain.
Yeah, I ended up. So I was young. I still had to support myself. So I did my externship. I think I did it at Whole Foods. Whole Foods downtown had just opened.
Okay.
And I did salad bar production there, and I also worked at a restaurant called Zoot, which was it was a fine dining restaurant.
Yeah.
I worked at nights there, and I worked mornings at the salad bar, in which I got paid well for industry standard, well enough to pay my bills, and then I'd go work.
Do you remember Elizabeth at Whole Foods?
Oh, I think so. I think so.
There you go. She's a salad vet over there. She's still there. I run into her occasionally at HEB, which is funny enough.
That's funny, man. Yeah, so that was my first externship, but I was looking at it more as, I still had to make money and stuff.
Right, you needed to.
I did. Yeah, and so then
two birds with one stone. Right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, sort of. Yeah, and then I worked at. Jason, I've worked at a lot of different restaurants in the city. I worked at Zoot, and then when you're a cook and you're young, you're just my opinion was. My thought process was I want to work for the best guys in town and just absorb everything and just work my ass off and just pay attention and take away technique, take away flavor profiles, and just get into these kitchens that are just or these restaurants that the food is so good at. So I ended up working at Parkside for a little bit, which was a fantastic restaurant. I worked at what was after that, man. I helped open Perla's as a line cook.
Awesome, yeah. That's the MMH, right?
Yeah. And then I worked at Botticelli's across the street for a little bit. And then I worked at a restaurant called Olivia's, which was off South Lamar, with a great chef James Holmes and Andrew Francisco. They were great. And then I worked at Uchi for a little bit, for a couple years.
Can I ask you, when you're going to these places, because you're trying to make a living as well, do these involve staging ever? Or are you?
Yeah, Uchi specifically was a very long stage process. I actually staged there throughout all these individual restaurants.
Okay.
I just straight up couldn't afford to work there for free for so much. And then when I did get hired, the pay was substantially low. You can barely live off it.
Yeah.
That's how it is as a cook, though. It wasn't just that restaurant; it's all the restaurants were like that, and it's just the way it is, and that's why you have two jobs, and you just push through it.
It becomes increasingly harder as things get more expensive here.
Yeah.
for these folks in the kitchen, in the front of the house, wherever they are.
Yeah, no, and it's part of the struggle, but it's also, but the stuff I got out of it was, worth, it's worth more than that paycheck. Like,
Yeah, these are some pretty nice places that you mentioned.
That's the way I view it. Not everyone thinks like that. I do.
Well,
Because
you've
you're
got an
taking away these,
education.
and this is totally relatable to what I'm doing. Like school is one thing, but like when you're in the restaurant, it's a little different, and you're taking away these creative processes that school can't teach you.
Yeah.
You can't teach you like evaluating your steps of process on building these sauces, and then but not only like you have your mother sauces or whatever, but then just expanding off those into different flavor profiles and. That's the stuff I took away from these other sort of higher end restaurants, and
Absolutely.
and like I said, it was amazing. Like all these restaurants are great, and I took away a lot from each of them. And now I put it into play every day here. Here at Shore. So, I worked at Key too after Uchi with Paul. That was a fantastic experience.
He's in San Antonio now, is that right?
I'm not sure. I haven't been following. I haven't had much time to follow anybody since the restaurant's open. I'm just now getting some time off throughout the week to start getting my other interests going again. I think he is in. I think maybe Houston.
Yeah, I'm not sure where.
But he was a great guy to work with. Our team over there was super awesome for the time we were going. Learned a lot again.
Yeah, very talented.
From Yoshi and Jorge and these great chefs over there, man. They were super talented. Met a lot of great people there. And then after that, hang on. So a big thing during that stint at Key was Paul came in and talked about a grant opportunity for the staff if you were to apply to this company called Mentor. And it was basically a company, and their sole purpose was to promote culinary growth by funding individuals to go intern at other restaurants. And it was their first year they were doing it, and Paul was super excited about it. Well, I wrote down the information and applied for it that night. Me and this other person, MC, she did it too. And anyway, I applied for it. Long story short, I applied to go to a restaurant called Noma in Denmark, Copenhagen. It's been rated the top restaurant in the world a couple times. I've had their cookbooks and never understood even what ingredients they were using because they forage and use a lot of raw, natural vegetables and stuff all around Copenhagen. And so I was interested in going. And I've seen some Netflix documentaries on the chef, Renee, and guy's just captivating. When you hear him talk, it's just like, it's really interesting to me. So I applied for it and I got it. And then 3 months later, I worked it out with my managers at Key. And then I shipped out for 3 months in 2015 or 16. I forget what. But it was completely funded. I had to pay taxes on it when I got back, which I should have thought of, but I didn't. But it's all good. It's worth it. But it was cool. I lived there for 3 months in Copenhagen, because dude, it's expensive. And like without that grant, there's no way I could have done that. No way. No, not even close. So
that
amazing experience was amazing, Jason. And it's like that really pushes you the most, dude. Like just physically, like you're there for, it's like playing for like the Patriots. You're at the best team in the world.
Yeah.
Their work ethic, the guys.
How intimidating is that?
Intimidating. It is.
Maybe
it is.
on the day one, super.
Yeah, you walk in and you're just like, but at the same time, you have to have your own confidence in yourself. I had been cooking for 10 years or I don't know 8-9 years, and it's just like it's a kitchen. That's why I looked at it. I was like, and I know kitchens. Sure. I know like how to move in them. I know how
to
talk
to yourself, right? Tell
yourself. You're just like you just survey it, and you're like you find your position and you find what you need to do,
be
and then
the part.
Yeah, and then you just do your best to help people. And it's dude. It's an army in there. You get there at 7 a.m. and there's the kitchen staff was 40 people, and
it's pretty.
Half of them were interns.
Okay, wow.
And you're in Europe, so there's probably I mean, at least 15 different nationalities there.
Wow.
And the cool thing is that they all spoke English.
That is cool.
They don't speak Texan, but they speak English, man. So it's funny because I mean, when I started loosening up there, they gave me the nickname Matthew McConaughey and stuff.
Right.
Because I was, yeah, dude, for real.
Right.
Because I'd let them have it. Man, talk about an experience, dude. They're so cool. It was so cool.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that traveling in general really builds character and opens your eyes to how amazing this world is and what you actually might want out of life. And a lot of time for like a chef who can stage in and out of kitchens, it's almost like a form of traveling. But to be able to do that, it's like kind of really next level.
Dude, you hit the nail on the head just now. That's what it does. You get all that, and then it also makes you realize what you want.
Sure.
And so Allison, my wife now, she was my girlfriend at the time. It was funny how this all worked out. 'Cause she had gone to Copenhagen the summer prior, came back and said, "Brandon, we're going to go one day." I'm like, "Yeah, right, dude. I don't make any money.
Yeah.
I'm working now as a sous chef, not making nothing. I can barely afford this or that. I ain't never going to Europe. I don't see it happening." And then the next summer, I got the grant, and it all happened.
Yeah.
And then I told Allie, I was like, "Hey, girl, you need to quit your job or just tell them you're going to take a break because you can just come over and stay at my Airbnb and you can just live in Denmark for however long you can stay."
Talk about things falling into place.
I know. And then so she stayed for 2 months. She went on a work sabbatical. And then she helped me out a lot because, I mean, dude, I worked 7 a.m. till 11 p.m. Monday or Tuesdays through Fridays. And then Saturdays, we were there from 7 a.m. to about 2 or 3 in the morning.
Oh, gosh.
Dude, the first week, I fell asleep on my feet and fell into the prep table and knocked over like a shit ton of herbs. And everyone starts laughing at me.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think I can fucking do this.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't stand up for this amount of time.
Yeah,
I'm not used to
sleep
this.
deprived, right? You were younger though. I mean,
I think I was 20. How old am I now? 33. I think I was like 29, 28.
when you ask like how hard it is, it's silly to like just say the hours you work, but that's hard,
Dude. And you can say the hours. I mean, I still say them now. Or you hear people say hours, and you're just like, yeah, that sounds hard. But dude, I never felt it like that. And it was, man, you just got to like, when you wake up, you got to stretch, and you got to drink a shit ton of water, drink coffee, eat breakfast, get to work. Get going. It was cool because when you walk in, dude, they'd have music going loud, like loud music, high energy. Like when you first get there and you just start prepping.
Early in the morning like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Dude, they're rolling.
Yeah.
And their team is just so great, dude. The people there were so great. Man, it was cool. Like just everybody I connected really well with. But that experience was super cool. I can talk about a little bit. I mean, there's a lot to talk about there.
Well, sure. I had to ask this mentor program. This is the first time I've heard of it. Is it still around?
Yes,
2015. It is still around.
Yes. And actually, since then, I know cooks who I have told to apply for it and use it. It's called Mentor, MENT''OR. They're based out of California. Thomas Keller, Daniel Ballou are some of the founding chefs or head chefs.
So yeah, the program is still around, and you've known people who've gone there, and it's a big a deal as you can get with those kind of names. So
yeah, and it's fantastic, man, because like you're saying, dude, you provide opportunities for people who wouldn't have it, who are passionate to go out there and just do these things that like changes your life.
Yeah,
it changes it, and like, I mean, it was so cool, dude, being there and just being a part of that team. So the first week I was on the prep team, and like you're sort of figuring it out, and like I said, you're there for so long. Someone's got to make family meal twice a day, so every week you have 2 interns cook. And that first week I was there, there's these 2 Italian guys, and they were young. They were probably 22, 23, and they didn't really speak English.
Yeah.
And they were not good cooks. And they were putting up food that was just almost inedible. And it's like when you're working that much, you just need something that tastes good and can give you the nutrients to keep going.
Nourished.
So I just noticed, and I felt it. So I'm like, this pasta's undercooked and the vegetables are hammered, overcooked, and you don't want to eat it. And I'm just like, man, I would love to be able to do this and cook for these guys. And so for family meal, because I've done it throughout my career. At Uchi, it was a big deal at Uchi, big deal at Key, where every day we did family meal. So, and it's always something simple, nothing crazy, dude. It's not, just something delicious.
But yes.
I volunteered for the next week. The chef Kimmy, dude, this guy, we was from Sweden or Norway. He was so fucking awesome, funny, but intimidating. He was like, I need volunteers for next week, or I'm just going to pick them. And I'm like, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I got it. And he's like, all right, who's your partner? And the guy next to me, Paul, he's from California, and he hadn't cooked as much as I had. This is his like first job. He's super intimidated. I'm like, he's going to do it with me. Yeah. He's like, damn, Brandon, why'd you pick me, man? Sure. And so we ended up doing it, and he's Korean, and I'm Texan. And so we just did like various meals, but we put a lot of effort into it. And we did a great job, and the staff noticed, and the chefs noticed how much work we put into it. And Renee and the chef de cuisine, what's his name? I'm spacing right now at the time.
Sure.
They were all, and the sous chefs were all super appreciative, and the core staff, because like I said, there's the core staff who works there, and then there's an army of interns that rotate.
Yeah.
So it's like the core staff members who you like look to as like leaders. They were like patting us on the back, like, nice. Hey man, you need anything, like we got you, because you guys went way above. Like I did fried chicken and like biscuits, and like I went way over the top and made sure it was really, really good. Sure, yeah. And did it all really, really right throughout the week, and that scored us a lot of points.
I was going to say, Paul, it kind of opens the door for you there.
Yeah, because a lot of the interns there are like sort of, I don't know, not a lot of them, but some of them, they just act like they deserve stuff. And It's like, I never thought that. I was just like, let me help. I want to just make some great meals for these guys and whatever. And I actually did a pig roast too while I was there.
For a family meal.
Yeah. Wow. It was for the day off family meal. And it all started, dude, that was crazy. So the first week happened, I volunteered for staff meal week. And then that Sunday, one of the cooks invited me out to their house, to their house on the countryside, which is like a 10-minute bike ride. And I went out there, and there's some NOMA staff members there, and it was like a picturesque location. It was on a harbor. It used to be a military bunk. So this house was like looking over the bay, and we were all sitting there like drinking wine and just hanging out. And I was like, man, this would be an awesome spot to do a pig roast. And Arv, who's like the director there, was like, all right, I'll get you a pig. It'll be here next week. And I'm like, cool. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, I didn't even think he was serious. I was half drunk and I'm tired. And sure enough, dude, like midway through the next week, which was on family meal duty. So that was my responsibility. Yeah. It was like you put up breakfast/lunch at 10 a.m. and then you do dinner at 5. And then you feed.
It's like a reward.
You feed 100 people.
Yeah.
So it's work, but yeah. But they brought in the pig on like Thursday, and it's almost a 150, 160 pound pig.
Right.
And I'm an intern from Texas, and this staff member's like, hey, your pig's here.
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Let me see what you're talking about.
Right.
It's this massive like pig.
Straight from.
I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. What do you? And then like, luckily, I had like the sous chef Luke, who's from Seattle, and this other guy, be like, hey, dude, I used to do pig roasts. I got you. I'll help you out. And so I ended up butchering it and breaking it down because it was too big to fit in any container they had. And I was like, all right. And I didn't have a spit roast. Yeah. I didn't even, so I ended up just butchering it out, brining it, and then rubbing it down with soy sauce. And then I made this makeshift like roasting thing and cooked it this Saturday night. Started that Saturday night of that because the end of the week was Saturday for the restaurant.
They're closed on Sunday?
Mm-hmm. Sunday and Monday they're closed.
Is that when you guys originally had the conversation about the pig roast?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, prior. Even though it was your day off, you guys are all still getting together.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Like the camaraderie is like next level.
It's super cool, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so then I went back to that house I was telling you about, and then just started I started a fire at like whatever time it was. It's late night.
Sure.
And then I just got some meat hooks and hooked it around the fire, and sort of like a Francis Malman type device of just like moving it around the fire, and roasted it for damn near 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then all the Noma staff showed up at like 4 p.m. with wine and beer and sides, and we chopped up the pig, and me and yeah, we all had a great time, and that was a really memorable experience. Probably I'll always remember it. It was just cool, the experience.
No, that's awesome. You know what else is awesome is him just getting that for you when you're bringing it up in conversation, like the trust that he had. Like he was like, "You want a pig,
dude?
You got a pig."
I'm like, what?
Yeah. It
So
instills like a certain type of confidence in you.
yeah, I had never cooked a pig. It was funny.
So it also is shaking in your boots a little.
Oh yeah,
getting it going.
Well, you gotta just step up, dude. Just get after it.
Sure,
you know.
sure.
And
How did
I
it turn out?
literally slept by the fire all night. I did, but it's so beautiful out there, dude. No one has AC.
That's
no one.
awesome.
You don't need it. You sleep outside. I mean, it's gorgeous.
That's amazing.
It turned out fantastic.
I'm sure,
I'll show you photos later.
Nice,
Like,
yeah,
dude,
please.
the skin was super crispy, moist, delicious. Oh man, it was badass. We chopped it all up, and people just eating with their fingers, and
Earned some more stripes with the Noma staff, I'm sure.
yeah, and it wasn't. Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to, like, I don't know, just do a good job and have fun, and like, that's really it. And like, I wasn't trying to do anything, but I mean, ultimately, yeah. So anyway, because after that day, they kicked it into gear, and they were like, "All right, Brandon, where do you want to work?" Because they have 4 kitchens. They have the service kitchen, which service is going on at all times. So you're plating food, building food, you're getting plates, you're doing that type of stuff. You're working stations. They have the prep kitchen, which is where everyone starts out. That's upstairs, and it's like all the interns are like picking herbs meticulously for hours. They're prepping, making oils and stuff like that. There's the fermentation lab, which Chef Lars ran. He now is running his own spirit company, but he single-handedly built this fermentation lab out of 4 shipping containers. Wow. And it was outside of the restaurant. It was out literally like 10 steps outside of the restaurant, which he did garums, he did vinegars, he did oils, he did koji, these are all ferments. These are all like scientific cooking, molecular cooking, to make flavors and preservatives. So you make your own vinegar, you make your own oils, you make your own kombucha, all from their products, all from the products they pick.
Yeah.
So, and this is like, so they basically ferment all these items or cook them on the molecular level to preserve them, and also to make incredible flavor.
Sure.
And also awful flavor, because sometimes it doesn't go right.
Yeah.
So you got to learn from it and pay attention to it. And like, so there's that kitchen. And then there's also...
What spirits, real quick before you go on, is the spirits he does now, are they available here?
I think so. Yeah, they're called Empirical. I believe EMPIRICAL. He actually...
I'll have to look it up and link it.
Yeah, one of his first bottles was "Fuck Trump" in his stupid fucking wall bottle. I think that's what it was called, or maybe it was just "Fuck Trump," and it was like a habanero distilled gin.
Yeah.
To where you don't get the spiciness of the habanero, you get all the fruity and floral flavors of the pepper.
He sounds like a genius,
dude. He's dope.
Yeah,
and he's fun. He was so funny, dude. These people would just trip me out because like we're working so hard, and Lars is like outside doing pull-ups. I'm like, what is, I mean, it's just, dude, these people are like in shape. I mean, you have to be when you're working that hard. I mean, they're just like, but anyway, so there was that kitchen, and then there was the R&D kitchen headed by Chef Thomas and some other chefs. And that was like, dish development for the menu. And so there's all these kitchens, and they're like,
I know you eliminate the prep kitchen, right? You're not going there.
Well, I did the first week, and then I was really super interested in the fermentation lab because I had no experience with this, and I'm like, I'd love to do it.
Right.
So they stuck me. So I got to go over there, and again, like, these don't get offered to many of the interns just because it's
very cool.
You got to be responsible because Lars put a good amount of responsibility on my shoulders. I mean, nothing. You just got to be responsible. It's not hard. Just pay attention. Don't be a dumbass.
Be a good worker.
Yeah, and just fucking care and
there.
like clean.
Sure.
Cleaning was a big part of a lot of it, was just cleaning shit. And then follow the recipes and ask questions, and it was super cool, dude. Like I had a key. They gave me a key to like open and close the fermentation lab.
That's amazing.
I mean, that's pretty dope. And like, so I did that for a couple months. A couple weeks, and then I switched over to the R&D kitchen with Thomas.
Worked side by side with Chef Thomas Keller.
Yeah, no, not Thomas Keller. No,
Okay.
No, sir. No, his name is Thomas. I don't know his last name. He was German. But no, he's like probably the head chef now over there at Noma. No, he opened up a sister restaurant with Renee in Japan.
Okay.
I think it's called Inua, I think. But the guy is so talented, man. He's so like the creative process, and that's where I started learning about. So, all right, Lars in the fermentation lab creates these like they called them like letters to their alphabet of their cuisine. It's basically flavors, whether it's like a garum, which is like a fermented protein-based sauce, like a soy. I think it's
they called
like
them letters, almost like a.
Well, they referred to it. It was sort of like I don't know, like it was just like a analogy.
So you knew what the base of it was.
They had all these different flavors. They had like all these containers of like acidity, of fats, of stuff they made, and then when you create dishes, you can pull from this.
Sure.
Like you want something acidic? All right. Well, we have these like 10 things we've made. Wow. That like nobody else has, because we made vinegar out of gooseberries, or like we made vinegar out of whatever. And then the oils were like the fats, because good food is like a good, like, so when you eat something, in my opinion, you need a balance of salinity, fat, acidity, to make things taste great, to where it balances out in your mouth and nothing's too aggressive. And you're like, holy shit, that's delicious. Well, Noma made all their own stuff. They made up their own everything. So it's like, when you eat it, you get those sensations, but you don't know what those flavors are because you've never had them.
Yeah.
That's the way I felt. And I'm like, tasting all these things, I'm like, your palate gets exhausted because they're super salty or super acidic or super fatty. And it's, so then I got to work in the R&D kitchen, and you see these guys like pull from this and test things and taste them and test them and taste them. And I mean, it's a lot of failure. It's like, that's probably one of the biggest things I took away was that you got to be okay to fail with it and pay attention to what you're doing. Bless you. When you're working on these type of things, because you have to learn, to make something really good.
Notes with stuff like this, so you don't do it the next time you.
Yeah. Notes helped a lot, and then just like keeping at it. Because when it all comes together really, really well, you can make some really good stuff. And I mean, to me, that's like as close as to original cookery you can get, because you're creating
from as scratch as possible.
Yeah. I mean, flavor. Sure. Like, what is flavor? They would make their own flavors. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, it's hard to conceive. But for instance, I took that application and brought it back home. One example is they make oils. So I learned this technique over there. Me and the other interns, like 3 or 4 of us, we'd go on a foraging trip with our forager. We'd go out to the countryside by the beach, and the guy shows you what herb to pick or whatever, and you pick like 5 trash bags worth, right? And you bring it back, you clean it, you rinse it all, and then you dry it and you put it away. That's one step to it. Well, then you take that product out and you weigh it out in grams, and then you add 3 times as much grapeseed oil, and then you put it in a blender that's actually a heated blender. You can turn a temperature on the blender to a certain degree. You would turn it to the certain degree, and then you turn it on high for a certain amount of time. And the idea is that plant would puree into that oil, and you would strain it, and then you would have a flavor of that plant. So, it's the same way with olive oil. It's sort of the same thing, but then you have that oil of like whatever it is. I did it with sunflowers here in Texas. I went and picked a whole bunch of sunflowers one year down Mopac, and picked all the petals and made an oil that way. And it's beautiful, and it tastes like sunflower petals.
Yeah.
And like, if no, I didn't even know what it was going to taste like. You don't know what it's going to taste like. I just did it because I had done it there, and I was like, well, I want to see what's going to happen because I know sunflower petals are edible, And I checked in with the city, was like, hey, do you guys spray anything on these? Are these safe to eat? They're like, yeah, they're fine because because of dogs and stuff. They're like, we can't spray on public. They can't do it because they don't want pets to get sick or something. So they're like, they're good to go. So anyway. It's cool. It's a lot of work.
How did it turn out?
Fantastic. It's on the menu. It's on our crudo.
Nice. That's amazing.
It's on our crudo. So the dish that's on at work is, so we get in Gulf snapper, American snapper from Texas,
awesome.
And then we cut it into sashimi slices. It sits on a bed of apples and bell pepper and oranges, and then it's sauced with what's called a leche de tigre, which is a Peruvian goat milk citrus marinade. It's like goat milk and honey and lime juice and serranos. You steep in them, strain it, and then you pour that over it. And then for fat, it's like I'm saying, you want like balance of like all these flavors. For the fat or the oil, I use the sunflower oil.
Nice.
And lots of lemon zest and basil.
Sounds
and
like a delicious.
It's refreshing.
Dish. Yeah.
It's nice. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I am getting low on sunflower petal oil, though. I need to go harvest them this year. I have to.
So what about bringing a team member with you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Teach them, because that's some invaluable knowledge.
Dude, listen to this, man. So when I did it, though, the first time I parked at William Cannon in Mopac, right by that Whataburger, there's a bank, and I parked there, and it was like 7 in the morning on like a summer, like July or whatever, and it's hot out. I have my headphones on. Because I knew what I was going to do, and I'm going to walk through a whole bunch of grass. So I got like pants on, boots on, I got a long sleeve shirt on, to where none of these you learn that you don't want bugs on you, you don't want to get stuck with stickers, so you get dressed to like you're going to go mow a yard or mow a field. Yeah. So I had my sunglasses on, a hat on, and my headphones on, and like 3 or 4 HEB bags. Like, so I guess I looked like a bomber or something, and the bank called the cops on me. Shit. So I'm picking flowers down Mopac, and this fucking cop pulls up, and I'm like listening to whatever Metallica, like just 7:45 in the morning,
right?
Raging Flowers, and this cop's like, "What are you doing?" Yeah, I'm like, I'm picking. I just can't. What did I say? I was like, I'm picking sunflowers for an ACC art project, sir.
He either sounded completely crazy, or he was.
And he goes, he's like, what? I'm like, it's for an art project, man. What? He's like, oh, well, the bank thought you were, and I'm like, what? He's like, is that your car down there by the bank? I'm like, yeah, it is. Like the white Mazda. Bank. Yeah. And like, well, they called us saying that you were suspicious. And I'm like, dude, I'm just picking flowers.
You got to go over that bank and have them try the
dish. I walked into him and was like, what's up, guys? Yeah. I was like, I was picking flowers. I went back to them when I was done. I was like, I was doing this, and they all started laughing. And it was a funny situation.
I guess never, you can never be too safe these days. Yeah. It is funny, though.
It's weird. Yeah. So anyway.
But you're going to need to harvest sunflowers again. Yeah. And what I think is cool is just like, we were talking, it kind of turns you on that you travel, you get to open your eyes to the things you want. And I'm guessing this kind of like camaraderie that you had at Noma, where you guys are on your day off and you're still getting together and, drinking, talking about pig roast. Mm-hmm. Look, you're about to maybe do that again here at Shore. You can bring somebody out, probably be a day off.
Yeah. I mean, these are all good points, man.
No bombings, but.
Yeah, definitely no bombings. But, man, it's yeah, I mean, so another thing you pick up on, so that's just like some of the culinary stuff you pick on when you're out and just stuff, but there's a big emphasis on culture there, on like kitchen culture and like restaurant culture, and something that when you're a younger guy, you don't really care about, but as you grow older, it's important. It's important to people feel like supported and helped, and it means a lot. It's one of my biggest focal points to make sure the people are good and that they have a good time and they're focused and they feel like they have the tools to be successful, and that that I supply them with creativity to keep them excited and like all that stuff, because they're the backbone of everything, and that's what happened at Noma. You take that away and you're just excuse me.
And the support that you're referring to obviously comes in the actual kitchen for the art of cooking.
Yeah.
But is this also like support? Like we're going to support you at home and anything you got going on? Do you?
Yeah. No, I mean, like I'm pretty flexible. Like I have staff, the kitchen staff that I'm mainly responsible for. Yeah, dude, I try to be as understanding as I can be.
Yeah.
And I get stuff happens, dude.
And you already said, I mean, like there's people who take advantage of that, and you guys can weed it out, through some folks, and you guys are
Absolutely right.
And
Yep.
people who can flourish in that and know that they're respected and the chef's got their back, they stick around.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, that all of it. So we pay pretty good too for hourly. I mean, they deserve it. They deserve it. But at the same time, though, like I'm pretty. I'm very strict, or not strict. I watch the labor real closely. So if I have to cut hours, I cut hours. Going through our business this first year, I'm learning the cycle of busyness. We're trying to pay attention to it. I do definitely pay attention to it. But even with the history, you don't know if you're going to be busy or not. Now, some days you pretty much know. All right, dude, you're going to be busy. Staff up. Certain other days, you're going to be slow, so you don't staff up. So anyway, I just try to be transparent with the staff on that because
that's the word.
Yeah, man. And and that's what I did this month because December was crazy busy, awesome. And then the first week of January is dead. So then I'm like, all right, guys, like I gotta let y'all know, I'm sorry, but like it has nothing to do with your performance, but I gotta cut everyone's days back by a day.
That's very valuable though, to tell them what's going on so they know what to expect from you.
I know.
All year.
It's hard, dude, because then I do that. And you're right. And I feel like the feedback I've gotten from them has been real positive and respectful. Because I remember when I was a cook and the chefs just cut my hours, I'm like, dude, that's like my water bill. That's my electric bill. And I understand. So, and now I'm on the other side.
Home, with your, kicking the can, and the chef's just trying to, keep the restaurant afloat.
Yeah, so you can get paid.
Wrong. Yeah.
Yes, the restaurant can pay you. Yeah. And then, so that's my approach I've taken. Excuse me, Topo Chico, and I think it's working. I think so.
Yeah.
So
you guys are in a good spot over there. I mean, you guys, like we have the Via, we have Jack's, now we have you guys. There's not tons on that stretch of road.
There's not,
but Austin is booming. So I have to ask you when we're talking about restaurants, where you've been around, you've cooked. Friends, restaurants that you enjoy, or restaurants that you enjoy here in town. This is the one segment of the podcast that always is here.
Yeah.
Where do we go eat, chef?
Dude, I love all of Kevin Fink's restaurants.
Okay.
Dude, I love his food.
He's talking about something in the Galleria.
Dude,
people are trying to twist his arm about it.
He's solid. Yeah. Solid. Like, I love his food. I love Emmer. I haven't been to his other restaurants yet. I know he just opened up Hestia. I've been to Henbit. Those were good, but he's solid, man. He's a solid guy, solid chef. I mean, his food's fantastic. Like I'm all behind him for sure.
He's part of this like sobriety. Is he? He's big into sobriety.
I don't know.
I might have that.
I know he's. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's.
I thought he was part of the Commodore Run Club and all the. I don't know. I might have that wrong, but.
I don't think he is. I know Pages, who's a chef, who used to be a chef with him.
Okay.
But Pages since split off and he's doing his own thing.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's a great thing, dude. I mean, I think what they're doing is awesome. I worked with Chef Philip for a little bit at Uchi.
Oh, okay, great.
So, I mean, I understand. And it's something, I mean, our industry's tough.
Yeah.
And you can easily fall into some bad habits, and I think it's important to just understand that, and hopefully, don't get too deep into it, and whatever brings awareness to that is a positive.
And he's checking all the boxes.
That's great.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, running at 10 a.m. service. Food and beverage people welcome to show up and go run 3K, I think 5K, something like that. And Thursdays there's yoga, and then he also does the Ben's Friends, which is the equivalent to like a Alcoholics or Narcotics Anonymous meeting for food and beverage. So I mean, he's like in every way possible, making sure that he stays healthy and takes care of his people. So
that's great.
It is excellent.
That's great.
So Uchi, and we talked about that on his his podcast. We're going to record a real brief commercial for his Ben's Friends.
Cool.
Kind of, I hate the word commercial, but like just a little thing we can throw at the end or beginning for folks who might be struggling with something like that.
That's positive.
Yeah, definitely.
That's super positive.
Wow, where else should we go?
Go and
in a
eat.
pinch, yeah, when we can't think. You know that place where do we eat tonight?
Dude, I'm easy. I go to Chewy's.
Chewy's is good.
Fucking love Chewy's.
Celebrated my birthday at Chewy's.
I love it, dude. I sit at the bar, dude. Texas Martini.
Wonderful happy hour.
I honestly, man, I haven't eaten out in a minute.
Yeah.
I don't eat out much. I love it. Yeah, Via 313 is great.
Close by shore, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's easy to go over there. It's okay though. A lot of folks come in and their favorite place to eat is some peanut butter and jelly at home.
Yeah, I love Justine's. That's always been a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
I just love the ambiance out there on the east side. It's been a minute since I've been over there. I like June's All Day a lot. I like
that's MMH as well.
Yeah, I like the tagliatelle pasta. It's great. Drawing a blank.
June's is a good suggestion. It's not been mentioned yet.
I like Olive and June too.
Yeah.
I like that restaurant a lot. It's a beautiful restaurant.
Cool little area. We had Spread & Co. pop up over there.
Mm-hmm.
Should check that out just for fun.
Okay.
They do. They're about to have their food and I don't think it's a full liquor license, but beer and wine.
Mm-hmm.
But they do cheese and charcuterie and sandwiches and husband and wife and two good folks. But it's right by Olive and June and the Olive and June. They're part of the Timeout Fortuna Sustainable Seafood Program.
Yeah,
we need the shore on there next year. Yeah.
Well, we don't even serve tuna.
Oh, never. Okay. Well, there you go. Then you can be
We're always on timeout.
Yeah, you're on timeout.
We don't even. We're way above this timeout. We're never.
Right there you go.
No, I'm just kidding. But we don't serve tuna.
Well, there you go. You were part of it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So and again, absolutely, it's very important to get on that.
Yeah,
so,
no. We'll get your name right on there, right?
Sure.
Yeah, but the Olive and June, these are good suggestions. These are good. And I want to ask you, just because I was going to get up and grab the Art of Fermentation because of this, affinity you have for it after Noma, but cookbooks, maybe a go-to cookbook. Just pick one. I don't know. Don't go through a list. Do you have a favorite?
Dude, hang on.
We've got a few while you're thinking. David Norman's Bread on the Table here is a local cookbook here, which is amazing.
Yeah.
If you're into the bread.
I haven't even seen this one.
Yeah. So there's that. Then, we were talking real quickly. Peach Tortilla. You were checking out Chef Richie's podcast. They released a cookbook as well, which could be fun for you. And then Joseph Sukendra down here, A Place at the Table. He's featured in here. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Very, very cool stuff. But I was just thinking, because the Art of Fermentation is over there, I was like, well, what cookbooks are you into? What do you suggest? I forget what page he's on in there, but he's been on the podcast. He's from New Zealand originally. That's a very
great, man.
Yeah, that's a cool cookbook. Well, Amazon next day, boom.
I know. I love Amazon. Isn't it badass?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword there.
Yeah.
Good and bad. You end up with things you don't need. Right.
Yeah, right, dude. Right. I hear you. Cookbook. Let me think. It's been a minute, man.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Jason, with opening this restaurant, I'm learning to be a businessman.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of effort.
Sure.
I've spent so much time on this creative aspect and like that passion. This learning to take what you do and all this creativity and then transition it into success, like monetarily, is something that I've never had to figure out.
Yeah. But this is part of the process, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it's like we're saying, very important and for everyone involved, myself, the owners, the cooks, the staff. So unfortunately, a lot of this fun stuff as a chef has been totally curbed.
I get you.
It's been like 100% curbed.
Right.
Which is just where I'm at currently. Now that our foundation is more intact, I would say, I'm starting to be able to like have time to actually get back into cookbooks, dining out.
Well, we
all
talked,
this other
you're
stuff.
taking a little break here finally.
I am.
You and your
I earned
lady,
it.
yes, are gonna. And you know what? It's needed, right?
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
need to do it.
I'm getting taking a week off. And,
Have you guys decided where?
First week in February. Yeah, we're going to Miami Beach. So
There we go.
Allison's 24 weeks pregnant, which is fantastic. Our first kid it's a baby girl.
Amazing.
We're super excited about it. I'm so excited about it. It's going to add a
sure.
whole nother dimension to my life, and I'm ready for it. But yeah, we're gonna go. We're thinking like, all right, we're somewhere that's comfortable because she don't want to be cold. We can be just relaxed. It's in the States. She doesn't have her passport anymore, so we settled on, and that's not too crazy of a time change. Like,
Sure.
Hit up Miami Beach, dude. Stay on mid beach and
Any beach is good.
just relax.
Right.
And no one's there. The flights are affordable, so we're gonna go there, hang out. There's good food in Miami, so we'll eat a lot. That's her indulgence now, obviously, and
Yeah.
she's feeding too.
Feeding too.
Yeah, and I'll be chilling and maybe drinking some pina coladas a little bit, just hanging out, get a tan.
This is, I agree, needed and deserved.
Disconnect.
Yeah,
And
that's exactly
disconnect from what I'm doing at work and just, reinvest time with her about what we're about to go through and just get our heads around it even further. And that's really important because it all stems out of the house and home. And as a man, as a person, you need that foundation to get into. I need it solid, and we are solid. And it's just like we know each other really well. We talk about everything. She's my best friend. And we're on the same page moving into this new chapter of our lives with the baby, because as everyone who has kids knows, it changes everything. So you gotta really be. You just got to get your head right with it. And from my understanding, it's really just putting everything that Allison needs and the baby needs before me. So it's just like, if I can just keep that perspective and know that, like, all right, dude, like, it doesn't matter if I want to do A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys need? And then just keep trying to keep that.
I
And
think
if we can both do it, we'll be all right. And I think we already do it. So
on my end, having a child, thinking like that is smart because I didn't really think like that, but it just happens.
Yeah.
It's like,
because you have to.
I'm on the back burner now, and it's all about you guys. And that's how it goes. It's just naturally.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like, I know we're talking about it right now, but it's like, as I told my kitchen staff about their hours, about, hey, we're slow, I got to cut you. I gave them that, like, if I can, and they appreciate that. If I can do that to myself and be like, all right, Brandon, come May, you got to be. My mindset has to be changed entirely. Like,
right.
It has to. And I know it probably won't be completely.
Do you wake up and drink coffee?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just, your mindset should be like, I don't wake up and drink coffee anymore.
Yeah.
I wake up and go to the baby.
Yeah.
Then coffee comes when I'm ready. That was the one thing for me. I was like, wait a minute. I need my coffee.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's a baby.
See?
You don't wait. Wait, baby.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, they don't wait. They're there. They're ready to go.
I was blessed though. My daughter woke up after I would finish my pot of coffee and she'd go to sleep through the night. I know. I shouldn't even say that to people because we got so lucky.
No, it's great, man.
It is great. So I've always been able to enjoy my coffee. But I do remember saying, hey, this is like not about my coffee in the morning anymore.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is I still have the old drip machine, so I can just set a timer and it'll go off and then I'm ready to go, dude.
We do the French press over here.
Yeah, I got that as backup. Or if I have time,
so good.
I'll do that. I did French press this morning. But yeah, man, so all this is relative and it's all, who we are as people. Like for me and work in my personal life, it's all very similar.
Yeah.
I'm the same person. I approach things the same way. I try it, and it's all relative, man. It's like my home life, my work life, and I love both of them.
All right.
I feel so fortunate and so lucky to be in the situation I'm in, and I'm just like getting started on this stuff because it's like the business stuff, like I was mentioning, I'm learning, and when we're on it. Me and Rick are
you
all
feel
over
comfortable learning it.
100%, yes.
Good.
We're just learning it, and then I know once that's like solid, which we're doing good, doing really good. We're just watching everything from, all your expenses, from your labor, your hourly, your salary, what you're buying, what you're wasting, high-end selling items, what we're promoting or marketing. There's so many facets to this business you have to be aware of. That, and that's just what I'm not even talking about like teaching people cooking,
Yeah, no,
all
exactly.
that stuff. This is just
Well,
one
this is what
aspect of it.
separates an executive chef from.
And you don't know that shit until
No.
you're in it.
No, yeah.
Like
and there's people who can't do it.
No,
Yeah.
dude, it's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard.
It requires thought.
Yeah, and spreadsheets and like looking at invoices and talking to purveyors. And anyway, now my point is that once and I'm almost there, I can get back into what makes me super excited, which is creativity, sustainability,
Sure.
all that shit, because it really matters. And it's like something to be proud of and something that I don't do for just window service. Like it's the real deal.
Well, you're
It's- and
taking a
that's the
wise
stuff
approach,
you want to do,
one thing at a time. Right?
Yeah, because like I said, I'm not shutting down this restaurant, Jason.
Right, absolutely.
I'm not firing the whole staff again.
Right, yeah.
Like no, nope, I'm not doing it. No, so I'll do whatever it takes to figure it out. And the timeline of my personal life has panned out almost perfectly with this baby because I needed the time I had to focus on this restaurant to get it to where it's at right now.
And you're there.
And the fact that I'm here talking to you on a Sunday is proof of it because I got great chefs, Frank and Zach, in the kitchen right now holding it down for brunch. And I mean,
Chef Frank, Chef Zach.
dude,
there
they're
you go.
fucking awesome, man.
Cool.
They're great guys, and they're good people, and they're great chefs, and they're talented. And man, I'm fortunate. And my front of the house crew was Steven and Amber and Carlos and JP. I mean, these guys are like we're all like
Amber,
I really
Amber does something on Sunday. Now I just saw this. Have you heard what she's doing on Sunday?
yes.
So can we mention this?
Go ahead.
Well, so from what I understand, and I tried to actually reach out to her today because I realized she worked for you, but it has to do with suicide, right? Awareness.
Okay, so I don't want to misspeak on it.
Okay,
but I'm pretty
That's why.
sure.
Yeah.
It has. I know she is a part of a group for. I think depression is what I just want to
this
keep
is
it
at
as a
radio?
blanket umbrella term. I think it's just like for people who are going through problems. She has some sort of group because I haven't spoken to her directly about it. I've just heard about it.
Do you know it's at radio? I think it's at Radio Coffee.
I can't verify.
Okay.
Amber,
we're
I'm
like
going to talk to you about it when I see you next. Just
Sure,
to
and
find out
I
more.
was, I swear, I was reaching out to her today before you were coming to offer this as a platform for her to kind of talk about what she's out there talking about.
I think she'd be great at it. I mean, she should, and not only that, she can promote Shore, talk about her bar program.
100%.
So Amber is our bar manager, and she's been doing such a good job. She's great, super smart. She's
Sounds
been in
like
the
she
industry.
has a good heart too.
Yeah. Well, all these people, man, at Shore, they're good people.
Sure.
Like all of them, like every one of us. I mean, that's what makes me so happy about the place is that the people make it, and we're making it really special. And they have good hearts.
Sure.
There's no like, it's so cool to go into work and like there's no like animosity. There's no backstabbing. There's no shit talking other than like the fun shit talking.
Right.
You
It's
know,
a positive work.
Yeah.
It's fun to be fun.
Yeah, man. And that I'm really proud of that. That's
Absolutely.
like, cause like
I would
I've
be
been
too.
in some really volatile kitchens
Yeah.
in which people drink, they do drugs, they fucking steal.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some shit go down. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out of here. Like,
Yeah.
this is not for me. I don't want to be a part
And
of
that's
it.
why I commend, Chef Phillip at Commodore and all that stuff he's doing. I think it's moving in that direction.
I mean, we've all been through stuff. We just better learn
Absolutely.
through it. I mean, we all make
Chef
mistakes.
Brandon Silver, dreadlocks, and here we are today, executive at Shore Barn Grill. Through all these,
Threadlock across the clock.
there we go.
Dude, oh man, yeah, man. You go through life, dude. It's peaks and
Absolutely.
valleys, dude.
But you got to come out, with your head held high.
Yeah, and be consistent, and just not keep making don't make the same mistakes.
Sure.
You know?
Hence the Shore will succeed, and
Yeah,
we got to get people out there. I told you my folks live right down the street.
Oh no, I don't remember you saying that.
Oh, I don't know if I could. 3-4 minute drive from you guys.
Great.
So we'll get.
I'd love to
over
see
there.
them, Jason.
They might have been in there, but I need to make sure they're over there.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
Chef Brandon Silver,
Thanks.
thank you for coming in.
No problem, Jason.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. So, Shore Raw Barn Grill off 71.
Yep.
Go hit it up. Links are in the podcast description.
Cool.
Thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thanks, man.
Yeah.